So today I got to see an advanced screening of Dear Evan Hansen, the adaptation of the musical of the same name, and even starring the same lead actor, Ben Platt. Now, much like my last review, Dune, I've never seen what this is based on. I never read the Dune book, and I've never seen the Dear Evan Hansen musical. Because if you've seen some of my reviews, you know, I like musicals, but I don't particularly like watching the stage musicals. I like watching movie musicals. Those are always fun to watch. Well, most of the time, unless you know they're absolute trash, which I'll get into a couple examples in a minute. But oddly enough, I've not seen very many Broadway adaptations. I saw the Hamilton when it hit Disney Plus, and that might be it. Yeah, that might be it. But I still do like musicals, and I like some. And when it comes to Broadway adaptations, Hairspray is really good. That's a really good Broadway adaptation. But if you saw my review of The Prom from last year, you know I hated that stupid movie. And then you have garbage like Phantom of the Opera and Rent. I'm kind of mixed on Rent. But movie music, or Les Mis, that movie sucks too. So, Broadway adaptations, at least for me, don't exactly stack up very well. And the same is true here. This wasn't good. This was in fact pretty bad. I did not enjoy this movie. I was quite disappointed. So, if you've never seen the musical, the main plot of this is that a boy named Connor takes his own life at some point, and after earlier he had taken like one of Evan Hansen's like little notes that he had to write for himself as an assignment from his therapist, his parents assumed that Evan was friends with Connor, and it leads off this chain of events that creates even more bigger disasters. And kind of helps too. I don't know. This movie it's hard to talk about because the plot is ridiculous. I hated the story for this. I know it's probably faithful to the source material. I'm not going to say that it's not faithful to the source material. Again, I've never seen the musical, so even if it wasn't, I wouldn't know. But I'm guessing it is. So it's not just the movie, so I can't exactly pin this on the movie, but that just shows that this movie adaptation was a bad idea. Musicals, you can get away with stupid plots. Like, honestly, the plot for Phantom of the Opera is kind of dumb. The plot of The Prom is freaking awful. And Cats, do I even need to bring that up? Now, that's another example. I didn't watch Cats, but we all know it's bad. Like, I don't even need to see the movie to know it's bad. But I forgot what my point was. Oh yeah, you don't exactly need a good plot for a stage musical. Basically what you need is good music and good staging. And I probably won't be the first person to admit this, is that, like I said, you don't need a good plot, you just need, like I said, good music and good staging. Did this show have it? I guess. Did it show in the movie? Not really. Not really. This had not only some very lackluster vocal performances out of the cast, but it also had a lot of songs that were not very good. There were some that I actually thought were really good. But then there were other songs that just felt like they were dragging the film down because it's filler. It felt like filler. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to movie musicals, you could say every musical number could be cut out and could be replaced with a conversation, and every musical number's filler. But there's a difference, because with musicals, it's supposed to be there. It's a new way of telling the story. And sometimes it actually works. Like the scene where Evan's making up all these stories about him and Connor when he's first talking to the family at their house. I'll get into the staging later, why the staging is not very good here. But the song is actually really nice, and it shows how you can take what could be a boring conversation of him poorly telling lies. It turns into a song and it actually works. Same thing with his speech about halfway through the film. But the rest of the musical numbers, at least most of them, seem like they were just thrown in as filler. Like, there are some, like, pretty entertaining ones. Like, my favorite scene in the movie was probably the one "Sincerely Me." That's probably not the best song in the movie, but it was definitely the most entertaining. That was a really entertaining scene. And it did get some legitimate laughs out of me, because probably the only character that could get any semblance of emotion out of me was his name Jared, the kid with the Harry Potter glasses. So he was the only guy who could get any emotion out of me, because he was the only one who made me laugh. The rest of this movie is so self-serious that I couldn't enjoy it. It was like a complete flatline for 2 hours and 17 minutes. That's how long this movie is. 2 hours and 17 minutes of mostly... This movie left no impression on me. And I think that's worse than being outright bad. Dune left an impression on me because I really enjoyed it. And Prisoners of Ghostland left an impression on me because it was pretty bad. So, this one is just a horrible in-between, where not only is it not entertaining to watch, it leaves no... Literally, the second I walked out, I had trouble remembering certain plot points that happened. I had to think hard a few times to remember what happened in certain scenes. And that causes a problem. A movie should leave an impression on you, whether it's incredibly good or incredibly bad. I can watch something like Empire Strikes Back or Avengers Endgame, and it left such a huge impression on me. Or I could watch some of the worst movies ever made, like Battlefield Earth I mentioned in my last review, or Birdemic, or The Room, or one of these other really shitty movies, and they will leave an impression on me, whether it's laughing at it or rage. Which, that comes into something like 2019's Lion King or Playing with Fire. Actually, I think that one was more cringe, but whatever. Movies need to elicit emotion on you. That's the entire point of the medium. But this movie just, like I said, it's a flatline. It left no impression on me. And like I said with the songs are mostly okay. These are the same songwriters who did La La Land, which I surprisingly haven't seen, The Greatest Showman, which I have seen. I already did a video on it a few months ago, and they did the new lyrics and new songs for the 2019 Aladdin, which I really liked. And I liked the new lyrics and I liked the new songs, even if one of them was cut for some reason. So yeah, it's not like any of these songs are like horrifyingly bad. It's just a lot of them are just... They're just there. They leave no impression on me. And it feels like they're just thrown in because we need a song here. We need a song here, so let's just throw what we got. We just throw whatever we got here. And again, it's not helped by the fact that a lot of these vocal performances are pretty lackluster. Ben Platt is a very good singer, and he's actually pretty decent in this movie, but the problem is, okay, for one, he looks 27. Most likely because he's 27. And the same people complain about Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man. Same problem here. He looks just as old, even though he's a couple years younger than Garfield was. He still has the same problem. It is so obvious that this guy is in his late 20s and not 17. And not only that, it's the same kind of performance he would give on stage. And I feel like he wasn't given as much direction. This was the same director as Perks of Being a Wallflower. I had to double check that, because when I saw a review that said from the director, it was like talking about it. It says from the same director of Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm like, that can't be right. There's no way that's right. I googled it, same director. So I don't know. I guess Platt wasn't given much direction here. He just said, okay, you've been doing this for how long has that show been running? I don't know, but you've been doing this for years. You know what you're doing. But it doesn't translate well to the screen. I know he's done other films, but this kind of like sing acting that he does, it becomes hard to watch after a while because he's trying too hard. And there are multiple instances where sorry, my camera kind of messed up there for a second. So there are multiple instances where his lip movements won't match up with the singing. like you'll hear the singing, but his movements won't match up. Again, the same thing happened with one of the characters in The Prom. So, and again, the rest of the cast is fine. I like Amy Adams, and she's a very good singer, but she does, like, no singing in this whatsoever. And again, the rest of the cast is just kind of okay, I get. Like, they're okay at best, and at worst, they're just really bland. It's not entirely their fault. And I said I was going to get into the staging. The staging for these musical numbers is terrible. Every single musical number, except for one, is just someone sitting and singing, or standing and singing. Virtually no blocking whatsoever, just like what I'm doing right now, just standing in one place and singing. Except for one, and you can guess what it was, and it's Sincerely Me, which like I said, is the only scene that got any emotion out of me because it was actually entertaining to watch, and it actually got a couple legitimate laughs out of me. The writing for this is really bad. It takes itself so overly serious. This is the kind of movie that you needed a little more dark comedy with. And not only that, this movie has a very, I don't want to say childish view of mental incapacities or depression and all that other stuff. It's like someone was fed false information about what these were while writing an essay on it. That's what the script feels like, because it doesn't really dive into the psyche of anybody. It's just kind of brought up every once in a while, and that's not really shown. Hell, Evans, like, he has to take pills, like, I don't remember what they are, but he only does it twice, and it's within the first 20 minutes. And there's this other girl who does the same thing, and she's like this kind of preppy girl, but it's only because she takes the meds for it, which helps her. But we never see her take the meds. We never get any of the actual psychology behind any of these mental issues or their depression. Like, the depression kind of seems like an afterthought most of the time, and it's really bizarre. And I'm trying to think. I can't remember if there was a single scene in this movie other than Sincerely Me that got any emotion out of me. I can't think of a single one. This movie was a complete flatline. I did not enjoy this. If you like the musical, you'll probably like it fine, but I do not understand the appeal of this. I looked at the reviews. It's getting mixed to negative reviews. It's at 43. Currently, as I'm filming this, it's at 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, that seems right. And most of the negative reviews are, like, really negative. They're, like how I would score it, it's, like, 2 out of 5 or below are most of the negative reviews. A lot of people really hated this film. And like I said, this is a really boring, overly serious slog that I just could not enjoy. I don't recommend this. I really, even if you like musicals, you probably won't like this because there's no entertaining musical numbers outside of Sincerely Me. The rest of them are just someone just standing and singing. The songs aren't bad most of the time, but they're boring to watch, and they become a bit pretentious at a certain point. And this movie also suffers the same problem as The Prom, in which everyone's an asshole syndrome, where it has a case of everyone's an asshole syndrome. And if you've seen the movie, most of you probably haven't yet, but when you do, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? There are a ton of nice people in this, but there's always a point where someone does something incredibly douchey. Especially Amanda Stenberg's character, I can't remember her name, it was like Alana or something. She does something overly douchey that it's unforgivable, and it makes it even worse in the fact that you barely see her after that. You see Evan like call her up and berate her for that, and then you see her for all of 5 seconds after that during a little montage, and that's it. There's no repercussions for what she did, and even though most of this is Evan's fault, she's the one who set off the chain of events that made the lie revealed in the first place. And I hate the liar reveal story. I forgot to mention that. I hate this story so much. This is on the same level of storytelling as Shark Tale. Shark Tale, one of the worst animated movies of all time. I hate the liar reveal story because it's always so cringy to watch. And not to mention, Evan's a terrible liar. Every single time he has to come up with a lie, he's constantly stuttering over himself. He's constantly having to think, and he's just a terrible liar. I don't get this. And like I said, there's so many times things could be avoided. I'm not gonna reveal. I'm not gonna give away any of the major plot details, like what Alana does, because if you want to go see the movie, if you want to see the movie, you'll probably already know what it is because you've probably seen the show at this point. But it's overly douchey that it's unforgivable, and the movie just kind of ends very abruptly. There's no conclusion for any character. It just kind of ends. I've been having there's a lot of movies that have been having this problem recently where they don't end, they just kind of arbitrarily stop in some place. And there's a siren right outside my window. That was loud. So yeah, this was not enjoyable at all. I don't recommend this whatsoever. This was really bad. I don't envision myself ever watching this again. Even something like Dune, I don't anticipate watching it again, but that's just because it's so long and it's just a prologue for another movie. This is a full movie, and it's 20 minutes shorter, and I don't anticipate watching this again. If I want to watch something that's nearly the same length and way more entertaining, I'll stick with the second Maze Runner movie, which is about 2:11, and it's way more entertaining and has filled with way less plot holes. I mentioned plot holes. What plot holes? There's a simple one, and you can get around this, is where Alana's character, the thing she does that pissed me off, this could have been avoided had Evan, instead of sending her what he was showing her, he could have just showed it to her, and all of the pitfalls of the last 45 minutes would be avoided. And not to mention, the first hour of this movie zipped by really quickly. The first hour was incredibly fast. And I'm like, okay, this might be... Okay, this isn't great, but at least it'll be a quick, dumb movie. But the last, hour 15 drags. It is so damn... So after the speech scene, after the... What was it called? You Are Found, or something? Whatever the song was called. But after his speech scene, the movie just kind of grinds to a halt for a good hour. And it's so slow, and you know what it's all building towards, and you're not going to like it. So yeah, final verdict. If you've seen the show, you're probably going to watch the movie regardless. This movie comes out on Friday. I don't anticipate it doing well at the box office. I think Shang-Chi will probably stay at the top for the 4th week in a row. And yeah, that's all I got for Dear Evan Hansen. 1.5 out of 5. This was really bad. Don't watch this. Save yourself 2 hours, 17 minutes. So what do I got? What do I got next for the rest of September? Let's see. Okay, that Netflix movie Night Books. And why did I put that on there? Oh man. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe for more movie reviews like this. And are you excited for Dear Evan Hansen? Are you going to go see it in the theater? Are you going to avoid it like the plague? Have you seen the musical? And if you like the musical, tell me what I'm missing. Because I could not find anything redeemable in this film. The 1.5 is probably generous, but this was really bad. So, yeah, that's all I got for Dear Evan Hansen. Now I have more entertaining things to do, which will leave a much bigger impact on me. I don't know, homework? Probably be more entertaining than this.